Hi everyone, we're a minute away. Give everybody a chance to arrive. I can hear myself on my iPad here. I'll do something about that. Here we go. Hi, I see some people are showing up on YouTube and no doubt on Facebook too. Yeah, Menno, it is much better, isn't it? Hi, Christian. Good to see you. Hi, Beverly. Margaret. Oh, from Carlton Place. Yahoo. Alrighty. Okay, there's my countdown. Boink. It's done. Okay. So good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Let me turn my camera light back on. Get a little more organized here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, if you saw the afternoon show, you know that I had some audio problems. So I went old school and got out a whole lot of analog equipment and set it up, and it's going into my interface, so that works a lot better. I keep thinking one of these days I'm going to get really good results running my digital audio workstation through the software and have it just be all one machine and be seamless, and that never happens. So the best thing to do is just to go a little bit old school and set up my pedal board for effects and a little mixer, and then we get much better quality in the end. And if you're listening on headphones or through a stereo system, you can actually hear tonight's stream in stereo, and it sounds really nice. I recorded a little practice run earlier, and it sounded great. Hi, Craig. Hi, Martin. Hey, how you doing, Uncle Martin? Nice to see you. And, aw, Craig, that's fantastic. You've been a fan for so long. Yeah, that's wonderful. All right. Well, I may as well get going here. Welcome to my second seasonal stream concert of the day. I did one this afternoon my time, and now it's 9 p.m. where I am. I'm on the far east coast of Canada in Prince Edward Island, so we're an hour ahead of places like New York and Montreal and Toronto. And I did two streams so that people could see in different parts of the world. So this is a good time for North Americans to watch in the evening, and then of course it's a pretty good time for people in far eastern parts of the world, like in Eastern Asia and in Australasia, to watch live. And and you Europeans, you're very dedicated to be up in the middle of the night watching this. So thanks for being here. I'm going to start with a song that's sort of tangentially about Christmas. Very beautiful, very sad song by the great Joni Mitchell, who of course was just honored this year at the Kennedy Center Honors in Washington. So Canadian girl does good in Washington. So this is called River. I'm only going to keep these headphones on for a song or two just to make sure we're grooving here. And that was River by Joni Mitchell, or a close approximation thereof. Yeah, just double checking here on Facebook. Hi, Huao. Very nice to see you. And Vladimir and Tiago. Wow, some people from all over the place. Vladimir Tretsiak. I have a hard time believing that's your real name, but maybe it is. Maybe the former goalie of the Soviet Red Army team is a big fan. Who knows? Hi, Chris. Nice to see you again. Aw, glad to hear Valerie loves it so much. Hey, Denise. Nice you're here. That's fantastic. Wonderful. Wonderful to see. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to do a thing here and just double check a couple things. Great. Hello, Jeffrey in Kansas City. Really nice to see you. David, you saw my Christmas show at Carlton. At the Carlton a few years ago, right? The Carlton in Halifax. Very nice to see you again. That's fantastic. Sorry, I'm checking a couple of different monitors here to see the comments as they come in. Wonderful. Thanks. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, so that was a Joni Mitchell tune. So what I'm probably going to do now is do something not so Christmassy. So if you're a guitar player, if you're at all interested, this tuning that I'm using, the one that I used for the Joni Mitchell tune, is a slight variation on this one I'm getting into now. But both tunings are voicings of a C minor 11th chord. So, and just to wrap up what that means, there are major chords and minor chords, and the bottom three strings of this tuning trace out a C minor chord. So in this case, it's C, G, E flat, and then the top three strings are F, B flat, D, which is really a B flat major chord. Okay, it's like what's called a second inversion, B flat major. But when you play them all together, you get this huge chord that if you were to get into the C minor scale, it would be notes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So all the first bunch of odd-numbered notes of the scale. And they make this big, beautiful chord. It's kind of irresistible. Now, I'm going to do another variation on that. I'm going to put an E flat on the bottom. When I do that, I change the tuning now to what's called an E flat major ninth tuning. Crazy what? And you'll see in the middle of this tune, I retune a couple of times. I go back to that C minor tuning in the middle, and then I go back up to the E flat, just to be silly. Anyway, this tune has got its name from the way people here on the East Coast talk. I grew up in Montreal, Quebec, and lived for a long time in Toronto, and the Toronto area. And then when Brooke, my wife, and I started living in Nova Scotia, and then here to PEI, this is a number of years ago now. We moved to Nova Scotia in 2009 first. And we were walking down the street, Spring Garden Road in Halifax, and we walked by the bank, I guess it's a CIBC, and we saw something that was just so East Coast and funny. It said, open, it was just a handwritten sign in the window of the bank that said, open a new account and get a free hot dog and a cup of pop. I thought, wow, that's East Coast. Not only do you not get a toaster or something like that, you get a hot dog and a cup of pop. So like, a drink, a soft drink to go along with that. Yum, yum. just for opening a GIC. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything except that I needed a title for the tune. I wrote the tune in Panama, of all places, and that's a tune called Cup of Pop. Here we go. I'm going to take these cans off my head because I think we're sounding pretty good. All right. Cup of Pop coming at you here from Prince Edward Island, Canada. So I hope it's a good time where you are. I know we're all dealing with stuff, and we're dealing with a lot of the same stuff that we've been dealing with, and it's just seems to keep throwing new curves at us, with the Omicron variant and everything. So it's sort of changed a lot of people's Christmas plans, that's for sure. We're keeping things super tight and quiet around here, so in order not to spread anything around. So not going anywhere. Nobody's coming to see us. But anyway, we're kind of getting used to that. It's been a couple of years now. Hopefully, we'll get over this soon. So, hello in Northwest Territories, Bryce. That's really nice that you're tuning in from all the way out there. Bob Village in Kansas. Very nice to see. Yes. And let's see now. Sounding really good. That's really nice. Thanks, Wayne. Let's see. Hello. Parlez-vous français? Oui, je parle français. Is it Abel? Abel peut-être. Oui, je parle français. Je suis montréalais d'origine. Alors, enchanté. Merci d'être là. Catherine Fisher. Are you still taking new students? Sure. If you go to Don Ross, DonRossGuitarLessons.com. That's the best way to check it out. And we can either do them in person, or some people I pre-record lessons for them, sometimes personalized lessons. Yeah, so the answer is yes. Let's see, Ron, you were the one at the Carlton. That's great. And what else is here? Hi, Beverly. Beverly calling in from Toronto. Last time we heard you was at Hughes Room with Ramzi Banura. Very nice. That's fantastic. Listening to you from Innisfil. All right. Also another person from Kansas City. Cool. You guys are every place. That's fantastic. Thanks for being here. So I'll think of another Christmas tune to play for you here. I'm going to play a guitar that, man, I used to play a lot when I first got it. And it got to be too much of a hassle to carry so many guitars on the road. So I just couldn't bring it on the road very often. And it has not gotten played as much in the last few years as it used to. So all the other guitars I'm playing tonight were made by Mark Beneteau, great guitar builder I've been working with for, a long time now. I'm afraid to think about it. 24 years? Whoa, that's crazy. We started working together in 1997. And before that, I was playing a lot of guitars made by the Loudon Company in Ireland. And also, I think the first custom guitar I ever had built for me was this one. So this one was made by a guy named Oscar Graf. And Oscar is originally from Berlin, Germany. And so I believe he's retired now from the luthier biz. At least that's what he had told me a few years ago, that he was retiring. And but back in the 90s, I had the crazy idea to get him to make me this instrument. And I say crazy because if you count, you'll see that there's 4 tuning pegs on this side and 3 on the other. So this is a 7-string guitar. So it's tuned like a regular guitar if you want. So that's standard tuning on the top 6 strings, and then this one has an extra B on the bottom. So it's a couple of octaves below the B string. So it actually has 2 B strings and 2 E strings, and then E, A, D, G, like guitars often do. Yeah, but I sometimes put it in weird tunings as well. When I did a Christmas album when I was signed to Sony back in the mid-90s, just after I got this guitar, so there's a lot of 7-string on the Christmas album I did back then. That album was called Wintertide, which you can purchase here, actually, as part of a little package of 2 Christmas recordings I've done. I did that CD back in the 90s, and then just a few years ago, I did another album called Flake. It's actually just an EP. It's 6 tunes, I think, on it. And just a couple of weeks ago, I remixed it and remastered it. So it sounds even better. It's the same recording, but a better sound, a little more up-to-date sound. Yeah, so that's that commercial message for you. But what I'm going to play for you is probably the most Canadian carol ever. The story goes that Jean Brebeuf, who was a Jesuit missionary, came over to what's now Quebec. This would have been, I guess, in the 17th century. And among the people he met were the Iroquois. And so that First Nation, he got together with them. He learned to speak Iroquois, and together they put some Iroquois words to an old French melody, and that's what this one is. So it's probably the best known Canadian Christmas carol. It's called the Huron Carol. The Huron Carol. Old, old, old Canadian hymn. So, why would I have ordered a 7-string guitar, you might ask? I used to hang out a lot at this guitar store in downtown Toronto that used to exist. It was right downtown. It was in like kind of an amazing location. It was right near Yonge and Dundas, if you know the city. And it was on a side street called Elm Street, right near the the Elmwood Club and the Arts and Letters Club, right around there. Anyway, so there was this place called the Mill Wheel. It was a great guitar shop. They sold acoustic instruments, and it was kind of the high-end acoustic guitar store in Toronto at the time. It went out of business sort of in the mid to late 80s, but they always had these interesting instruments. And one of the things they had one time was a Brazilian seven-string guitar. The seven-string guitar is endemic, or it's like, it's a thing in Brazil. There's a really great Brazilian guitarist named Yamandu Costa, who I got to do a festival with in Finland a few years ago. Great Brazilian guitarist, plays the seven-string. And actually, his seven-string was made in Alberta, here in Canada. Pretty cool. Anywho, in fact, I think it's made in, is that right? It's made in, not in, the heck's the name of that town? I just played in it not long ago. It'll come to me eventually. Yeah. And so the seven-string is a Brazilian instrument, and also if you're watching, I know there's at least one person maybe watching from Russia. There is a Russian seven-string guitar as well. So why Brazil and Russia? Who knows? But they both took it up. And so with Brazilian music, you can play sort of like bossas with them. You can get that low B. It's kind of cool. But then I realized after I got it that even though that particular piece I played in standard tuning with a low B, I tend to think of the instrument more like a guitar-like instrument, but it has its own sort of set of tunings and stuff like that for the repertoire I play on it. So it's kind of an instrument unto itself, almost like a mandolin or some other fretted stringed instrument that I might have kicking around. Don't really think of it in the same breath all the time as a regular guitar. So just an interesting little aside there. All right, so I'm going to grab another instrument that I have. It's funny that some people call this an ego stand, the ones that have lots of guitars on them. When I did my afternoon stream today, somebody said, wow, if that's an ego stand, I wonder what they called Joe Bonamassa's stand. And I have to say, I've never seen Joe Bonamassa's guitar stand, so I have no idea. But you know what they say, it's not how big your guitar stand is, it's what you do with it, and what guitars you put on it. So that's the thing. So I'm in I'm not in standard tuning, I'm in the open C tuning. So I'll leave it there for now. It's a bit of a nightmare tuning to get out of. Or get into. Yeah, and so the tuning lends itself to an arrangement of, there's another Old English tune, actually this one, and I don't know much about the song, except it basically tells the story of Christmas, I guess angels announcing things and stuff like that, as they are wont to do. So this is called The First Noel. Rock and roll. Yeehaw. The first Noel. Yeah, one of the old nuggets. Let's see where people are chiming in from now. Gotta take my glasses off to see this one. It's the name of the last song. The last song is called The First Noel, if that's the one you mean. The one I just finished playing. Yeah, The First Noel. Aw, thanks, Bryce. That's very nice. I'm glad you think it's so beautiful. And let's see now. Johanna, nice to see you out there. Great to see you. And hope everybody's well in your family and doing just fine this time of year. Let's see now. Tara or Tara, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name wrong. We're trying to cover all my bases. Huron Christmas Carol is the last song. Oh, okay, that's the one you're wondering about? Great. Oh, okay, so here's people asking about names of tunes. So yeah, I played Huron Carol, and then I think I played The First Noel right after that. Lise Gauthier, very nice to know that you're listening in from Cornwall. That's great. Wow, Ryan, you want to hear Black Chandelier? Sure ain't a holiday song. I'll think about that. I hadn't really considered playing that tonight, so that's a novel suggestion for sure. All right. Well, I should do a quick YouTube check as well. Multiple screens going here. Let's see. Hi there in Dallas, Texas, Alex. Bonsoir in Quebec. Hi there. Good to see you guys. Very nice. Somebody in from Calgary, from Pontiac in Quebec. Hello from Australia. Hey, Ritus. Yeah, you're down in Australia. I noticed that. What the heck are you doing there? You still living in Stockholm, or did you move? Love to know. Let's see now. That's really nice. Been listening for over 19 years. That's very nice. The guitar sounds amazing. I'm glad you dig it. What does it say here? Hi, Don. Can you do If I Could? Oh, I'll think about that. You picked up Flake on Bandcamp last year. Great. That's fantastic, Mike. Of course, Flake has been remixed and remastered for 2021. They're great. You saw me at Hughes Room in 2019, Matthew, and you also, and you're chiming in from the Annapolis Valley in Nova Scotia. That's fantastic. Upright and locked position. Wow, so many cool non-Christmassy suggestions. Okay, we'll get to at least a couple more not-so-Christmassy tunes, including this one. So this is very convenient for tuning's sake. And it's a favorite. I know a lot of people like this tune. I wrote this tune when I was 22 years old. So it's closing in on its 40th birthday, so that's pretty cool. And it's still hard to play all these years later. This is called The First Ride. It's always fun when you play an entire tune with an itchy nose. Also, I was trying to turn my chorus pedal on in the middle, and I was pretty sure I'd missed it, but then I noticed I left it on for the whole last 2/3 of the song. So, interesting. So I'm playing with socks on. I should be able to feel rather, when I hit the right button. Anyway, people are requesting all kinds of tunes, and I'll see what I can do about getting some of them in. Thanks, Sean. I'm glad you're enjoying the music so much. Round 2 in the books. Let's see now. Oh, yes. Hi, Matt Johnson. Really nice to see you here again. And Matt is my wonderful social media guy. Keeps people informed about what I'm up to. Somebody else coming in from Kansas City, Tim Deering. Very nice. That's fantastic. And yeah, there's all kinds of cool people on here. Let's see now. Johanna, it says here, treat yourself to... Oh, I see. You're just calling somebody in. That's great. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So I will play at least one more Christmas song because it is supposed to be a seasonal concert. And I'll get to some of your requests too. Let's see now. Which one should I play? I'll play this one. So I'm going to play a tune by Johann Sebastian Bach that very often gets associated with Christmas, but don't think it's necessarily meant to be a Christmas tune, but lots of tunes get associated with times of year or feasts or whatever, even if they weren't really intended to be that way. My favorite one was what was the story now? It was like right in 2012, right? So in 2012, Brooke and I were living in Halifax, and I guess it was like so it was the 100th anniversary of the War of 1812. So of course the War of 1812 went on for a little while. I think it went on until 1814, and it was really between the British and the Americans, right? I mean, the British and Canada were kind of the same thing, but there was no Canada yet. So anyway, and everybody claims to have won that war, but whatever, doesn't matter. But because Halifax has a military history, there's a big naval base there, and there's a big citadel in the middle of the town, which I guess was built before the War of 1812 to ward the Americans off or something. I'm not quite sure what the history of the citadel is, but it's this fantastic fortress in the middle of town. So they had this 100th anniversary commemoration, and there was this big concert in the evening where I guess Symphony Nova Scotia played the 1812 Overture. But of course, the 1812 Overture has nothing to do with the War of 1812. It has to do with a battle that happened in Russia. So it's kind of odd that those two were paired together. I remember thinking at the time, oh my gosh, people, you can just Google it. Anyway, doesn't matter. But I'm going to play this Bach piece. Oh, and here's a cool little aside. I've got these tattoos, one on each arm. They're both dedicated to my wife. This one is an alto clef, and she's an alto singer, so it made sense. But I liked it because it looks like the letter B. So this clef is usually used for playing the viola, for example. For the viola, you read it in alto clef. An unusual clef, not very often used, but I liked the alto and the B kind of connotations. And then on the other arm, I have this other tattoo here, which might be a little hard to see, but it's called the Bach signature. And the whole idea was that Bach could actually spell his name with notes, because in German, because of an old typesetting error, the note B they use the letter H for it in German. So the notes actually go A, H, C, D, E, F, G, which is weird. And so H is B natural, and for B flat, they use the letter B. And so Bach could actually spell his name B-A-C, no, actually, it's not B, B-A-C-B. B-A-C-H, rather. B-A-C-H. That's it. That's what I meant to say. So B, meaning B flat, A, C, and then H, which is B natural. So if you look carefully at this, you'll see that there's 4 staves there. These two are both treble staves, And in this case, there's a natural sign here. So when on the middle line on a treble stave, that's the note B. So there's the natural B there. So that's ha in German, the H. And then there's a flat B here, going this way. On the same line, you get B flat, okay, which is the letter B in German. And then here, this is a tenor clef. No, sorry, hold on, I'm going to take my glasses off. Which way does it go? This is a tenor clef, that's right. And on that line, that would be the note A on tenor clef. And on the viola clef, the alto clef, that middle line is the C, it's the middle C. So B, B, and then this is A, and this is C, and this is H. So some 19th century music student nerds got together and designed this thing where you could actually, on that middle line, you could get all 4 letters of Bach's last name. Now, I dedicated it to my wife because if you translate the German word Bach into English, it means brook. And that, of course, is her name, Brooke Miller. So that's cool. Very convoluted tributes to my wife on my 2 arms. Each of them done on an anniversary of some sort. All right. I'm going to play this little bit of Bach for you. That went very well. I was so flustered in my afternoon stream today because things kept going wrong technically, and so I started getting nervous and screwing things up. And it's funny because, I mean, nerves aren't usually a problem for me after all these years of performing for people. And I know that this is weird because there's no audience. I know you're there, I mean, but there's no audience here in the room. So it's always sort of funny playing to this camera. But, you know, it's the way it goes. It's all right. But I still get nervous just playing in front of a camera. But not tonight. It's all good. So an interesting little tidbit about that, you may or may not know this, but Bach wrote a lot of those tunes. They're part of his various cantatas that he wrote, and this part here, that's the part he wrote. And it's called a counter melody, because what happens is eventually the original hymn tune comes in. This thing, da 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 dum, that thing. What he's done is he's taken an old German hymn tune and slowed it down, sort of stretched out the durations, and then at sort of double time or quadruple time even, he's added this to it. So eventually, like it's you can't really play both parts at the same time, but eventually, like you sing over it, like if people are singing, da da, I can da da. I can't do it anyway. I've never actually tried to do it. I've accompanied a singer doing it, which is kind of cool because you hear both lines at the same time. Anyway, a little bit of same with famous tunes of his like Wachet auf. That one, that's a counter melody as well, and there's a male chorus that's singing it, and they sing the original hymn that goes with it. It's kind of cool. Anyway, yes, maybe I'll just round out the hour by playing a couple of your requests here that are not necessarily Christmassy songs. Hey Ben, is that the Ben Ross, the drummer? Really nice to see you here on Facebook. Let's see who's here on YouTube. Greg, nice that you're here. And Gaston, very nice to see you, all the way from Denver, Colorado. And there's people from all over the place. Real winners of the War of 1812s are the friends we made along the way. Great line. There's so many comments here. It's really nice that so many people are tuned in. By the way, of course, very happy to take your donations here at my PayPal. Now, what I'm doing tonight is half the donations are going to the Charlottetown Food Bank. So this time of year, of course, the people who have less than a lot of us, it's a really stressful time at Christmas. And it's a very stressful Christmas to begin with. So if you feel like being generous and feel like throwing some money my way, I'll be happy to donate half the money on your behalf to the Charlottetown Food Bank. So that's kind of cool. Also, please pick up the music on Bandcamp. It's a good way to pay for music still. You may have noticed I've been starting to take my music off of Spotify. I'm finding Spotify's way of doing things really objectionable these days, and I'm keeping it on all the other streaming services. So if you subscribe to Tidal or YouTube Music or Amazon or any of those, I'm keeping them there. But that fellow who runs Spotify is really getting under my skin these days. Plus, they pay terrible royalties. Plus, the sound sucks. They just have a big library because they were there first. But anyway, enough about that. Okay, so somebody asked for Klimbim, and a few people have asked for that. Now, this is dangerous because the tuning is crazy. I'm going to get away from. Oh no, I've turned the guitar mic down anyway. But let's see if I can get this. This high string has to go way up to a note that it's not normally supposed to be tuned to. Normally, your high string goes up to an E natural. And for this song, I have to tune up to an F sharp, which is just stupid. I normally do the tune at the beginning of a set with brand new strings. So this tune that I'm going to play for you is called Klimbim. And that's a German word. Years ago, I started touring a lot in Germany. And I was determined to learn as much German as I possibly could so that I could communicate with the audience in their native language. Plus, I hate to say it, but, English speakers are very spoiled. We tend to be very catered to as tourists. And of course, for 30 years, I've toured around the world playing music. And I'm really lucky that English is one of the languages I speak, because almost everywhere you go, you can find somebody somewhere who speaks at least a little bit of English. But the first many shows I played in Germany were in the former eastern part of the country, and it was not long after the wall came down. So people hadn't really learned English in school. And so anybody over about the age of 25 only had very rudimentary English. So I took it upon myself to learn as much German as I could. And right away, my accent was really good, so I sounded convincing. It's just my vocabulary wasn't very good. I had to learn a lot of words. And so I started picking up words wherever I could, and I would write them down in this little book, and I would look them up later. And so, I didn't have Google back then, I don't think, and internet was pretty baby at the time. So I would ask my German friends what certain words meant. And one day I was walking down the street, and there was this little sort of curiosity shop, and they had a shingle outside that said Klimbim on it. And I just, what the hell, it doesn't even look German. So I went back to my friend's place in Berlin, and I said, hey, Hannah at that time didn't speak a lot of English, but she spoke enough to sort of get by. But I always spoke to her in German. It was part of my practice, learning more and more German. And so I said to her, I said, hey, Hannah, wie heißt Klimbim auf English? What does Klimbim translate to in English? She said, oh, Klimbim, das ist schwer. Klimbim. Oh, junk. So I thought, oh, that's great, because I had this new tune that was kind of like two little pieces of musical junk that I had scotch taped together. And I wrote them in this really ridiculous tuning, very low and very high tuning. So the tuning, if you're interested, if you're a guitar player, B, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, B, F sharp. So it's a B chord with no third. There you go. All right. Klimbim. Klimbim. Yahoo. Alrighty. Well, thanks for being here. Yeah, it's heading up to the top of the hour. Gonna play one more tune. I got so many requests, I figure I better get one more in. This is not a Christmas tune. So, here's a song. I played a tune earlier that I wrote when I was 22. And this tune I wrote when I was 18. And boy, the 8 years since have just flown by. No, it's a lot longer ago than that. So long ago that I was, I wrote this song when I was in a new wave band. So we called ourselves the Crayons. It was the 80s, you know. Called ourselves the Crayons, but we found out subsequently, just when we were sort of about to play our first live gig, that our only live gig, that there was a UK band charting that had the same name. They had a song on the charts. So we had to come up with a new name. And this part of the story is almost Christmassy. My then girlfriend, Heather, she said, well, why don't you offend as many people as you possibly could and call it the band Vatican Radio? That way you'll have all the Catholics angry at you and all the non-Catholics will wonder if you're on some weird trip. Anyway, for one gig, we were called Vatican Radio. It was a lot of fun. And I wrote a lot of songs for that band. There were 2 or 3 songwriters in the band. And that girlfriend, Heather, with whom I'm still friends, we wrote a lot of songs together for that band. And this is one of them. Now, Heather has gone on to be a doctor of philosophy, and she's a professor at a university in Pennsylvania. And she wrote the lyrics to that song, to this song. So it explains why the lyrics don't mean anything, or at least they're very hard to figure out, because a philosopher wrote them. No, but the whole point of the lyrics was just to go along with the music. We weren't worried too much about them meaning a whole lot. Just check in on a couple more comments before I play this last tune for you. Kakashi, thanks for checking in from Russia. That's fantastic. I play cool guitar. That's really nice to hear. Thanks very much, Kakashi. And hi, Windsor. Weefek from Windsor. And let's see who else is here. Hi, Ryan Alexander over there. And I guess you're in Dartmouth, right? Hey, good to see you. Yes, Cameron, I'm going to play that for you. Let's see. Okay, there's so many great requests, but I can't possibly play them all. Zarzuela is Christmassy. Yeah, right, Keith Donovan. All right, so I'm going to play this vocal tune for you. And hey, John Tate. Wow, John's an old friend from my days in Dorval, Quebec, when I was a teenager. In fact, I think we both played in the same football team, and you broke your wrist on one play, and so they subbed me in to your position on a punt return, and I ruined my knee on the next play. So I hope your wrist is doing better. My knee still hurts. It's been God knows how long. Boy, people were rough in that league. It was awful. Great. Well, really nice to see so many people here. Stefan, oh yeah, this dragon won't sleep. Oh yeah, cool, awesome. Well, it's really nice to see so many people here, and thank you very much. Have a great holiday season. If you're feeling generous, please give, and I'll give half of your donation to the local food bank. And if you feel like picking up some cool music, this is the best way to buy my music on Bandcamp. I've got a few albums up there, including 2 Christmas albums. So please avail yourselves. And yeah, if you want to take guitar lessons, donrossguitarlessons.com is where to look. Also, if you want to take, if you're a beginner guitarist and you want to learn the basics of guitar playing, I have a teaching website called the Don Ross Guitar Academy. And there's like 40 lessons there to teach you the basics. And we are in the process right now of just finalizing the edits on the first module of the intermediate series. So that'll be uploaded in the next couple of weeks. So that's very exciting. So for those of you who want to go to the next level, That's coming. All right. So, yeah, so here's this song that I wrote when I was 18 called If I Could. So I hope I'm not going to blast you here. I haven't sung anything today, so I hope my vocal level is going to be okay, not too loud. All right. You saw the writing on the wall. You took a hidden moment to take a hidden chance. And if you just assume that all I ever needed was just a glance, undermine my ways, intuition plays mind and matter games while I throw away a word and draw the line. If I could only see inside you, oh, if I could only be beside you. Turn my vocal down a little bit. Also, this is a hard song to sing sitting down. Too many high notes. I'm just having to readapt the melody a little bit. You heard some voices by the stair, recalling all the things you thought you should have known. And if you just remember where you used to run to be alone, undermine my ways, intuition plays mind and matter games while I throw away a word and draw the line. If I could only see inside you, oh, if I could only be beside you. I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead on that one. Too many high notes. Can't sing that sitting down and with no vocal exercise ahead of time. So I will play one more. Keith suggested Zarzuela. Which again has nothing to do with Christmas, but what the heck. So Zarzuela, I got the name. I needed kind of a Spanish title for this tune I wrote after meeting Oscar Lopez, great Chilean guitarist. He inspired me to write something kind of, Hispanic-ish sounding, and so I wrote this tune that borrows a lot from the modalities and things like that you hear in Spanish music. And even though Oscar's from Chile, and he doesn't call what he does flamenco, he calls it the fantasy of Latin strings. So I don't really play flamenco at all. I don't know the first thing. I sort of play flamenco when I play it, sort of half Mi'kmaq, half Scottish flamenco, sort of, call it that. So this tune, the name comes from, I decided, okay, I needed a Spanish title, and at the time I was living in downtown Toronto. I lived around the corner from a Spanish restaurant, a flamenco restaurant. Believe it or not, that was such a cool place. It was called the Don Quixote. And so I just went over one day with a pad of paper and a pen, and I started writing down words off the signs outside and stuff like that. And I went back home and I thought, Zarzuela sounds like a really cool word. I like that word a lot. Then I figured I better find out what it was. It sounded so sexy, I went back and I found out it was the fish soup appetizer, so it wasn't quite as sexy as I thought. But anyway, I got my title. And here's the cool thing now. I actually make zarzuela all the time now. I've become very good at it. And here on the East Coast, of course, we have all this access to these amazing shellfish. So you're supposed to put clams in it and mussels and scallops and all these great things. So it's kind of a tomato-based soup, and it's crazy good. In fact, we still have leftovers from me making it a couple of nights ago. Good for lunches. Anyway, there you go. So once again, have a great holiday season. Stay safe. Stay unsick, please. Okay, be very careful out there. This new variant is so contagious, it's ridiculous. And so wear a mask. Wash your hands, keep your distance, don't shake hands for God's sake. This is called Zarzuela. Thanks for being here. Yeah, turn this down and turn this on. There we go. Yeehaw. Once again, thanks for being here. Have a great, safe holiday season, and we'll see you sometime soon down the road. All right. Good. Have a good night.